Hello everyone, welcome back to Agri Farming. Today we are back with how to start a vegetable garden from scratch. Vegetable gardening at home is a great approach to save money while you get up close and personal with nature. The first step to this process is to choose the best site location. Making sure you select the right location is the most important factor in planning your first garden, and getting to pick the best location is the main benefit for starting a vegetable garden from scratch. For the best site selection and for most vegetables, you want a location that gets 6 to 8 hours of sun per day. The sunniest location might be your driest, so make sure it will be easy to get water to your plants. However, if your sunniest location is the lowest point of yard and tends to stay soggy, then you might want to choose to grow vegetables in containers. Most vegetables require at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. The more sunlight they get, the greater the harvest. The bigger the veggies and the better the taste. Soil preparation to start a vegetable garden from scratch. Start soil preparation by eliminating all plant supports, plastic mulches, and excessive vegetative residues from the garden area. The amount of plant residue that can be turned under depends on how large the pieces are, how the garden will be turned, and how long before the area will be worked. In general, the goal is to enrich the soil with compost to give needed nutrients. Compost, leaf mold, or well-aged manure will increase the ability of soil both drain well and hold moisture, the sponge factor. Never use fresh manure because it can harbor dangerous pathogens and it will burn tender plant roots. Start with well-drained, sandy loam soil and add as much organic matter as possible, and plant roots penetrate soft, loamy soil more easily. If you have sandy soil, add aged manure, peat moss, and sawdust. Heavy clay-rich soil can be added to improve the soil. If you have silt soil, add coarse sand and compost, or well-aged horse manure mixed with fresh straw. If you have clay soil, add coarse sand, not beach sand, compost, and peat moss. Soil pH plays a main factor in growing a healthy vegetable. Garden soil must have the proper soil pH. A very high or very low soil pH can result in plant toxicity or nutrient deficiency. A pH value of 7 is neutral. Microbial activity is greatest and plant roots absorb or access nutrients best when the pH is in the range of 5.5 to 7 range. While exact pH requirement for vegetables vary somewhat in general, the soil in vegetable garden must fall somewhere be 6 and 7. If your vegetable garden soil tests significantly above that, you will require lowering the pH of the soil. If the soil pH level in vegetable garden tests significantly lower than 6, you will need to raise the pH of your vegetable garden soil. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium requirement to start a vegetable garden from scratch. When it comes to soil preparation for a vegetable garden, these three NPK nutrients are the basic nutrients that all plants need. While organic material does give these nutrients, you may have to adjust them individually depending on your soil. This can be done by chemical fertilizers or organically. To add nitrogen, use either a chemical fertilizer with a higher first number, for example 10:2:2, or an organic amendment such as manure or nitrogen fixing plants. To add phosphorus, use a chemical fertilizer with a high second number, that is 2:10:2, or use an organic amendment like bone meal or rock phosphate. To add potassium, use either a chemical fertilizer that has higher last number, that is 2:2:10, or an organic amendment such as potash, wood ash, or green sand. The next point is the type of beds to start a vegetable garden. The first is raised or square foot beds. It is one of the easiest ways to start a vegetable garden. The materials are inexpensive, you don't need to till the soil, and there is a weed barrier which helps prevent grass from getting into the garden. Square foot beds are the most commonly used and easy way to start a vegetable garden. Galvanized animal tufts are a great example. The second is pots. If garden space is limited, then pots are a great solution. Large, medium, and small pots are great for growing all type of vegetables. Some veggies that do great grown in pots are lettuce, peppers, herbs, and garlic. A pot is infinitely practical and can be moved simply to find the best sun. The third is plant directly in soil. People has used this process of vegetable gardening from centuries. You till and amend the soil before vegetable planting. Our ancestors did the tilling by hand and used manure to amend the soil, and this still works today, but using a tiller is a lot faster. It is best to obtain a soil sample test to see what your soil is missing. The concept of companion planting is ideal for these types of beds. Germinating seeds. Germination is affected by four environmental factors. They are water, oxygen, light, and temperature. Manage them correctly and seeds are sure to sprout. Oxygens. For seeds to obtain enough oxygen, your spoilage's growing medium needs to be well drained. Heavy, wet media cause anaerobic condition, which inhibit the germination process. Plants' light requirements vary from crop to crop. Where you locate seeds will determine how much light they receive per day. Temperature affects the number of seeds that germinate and how quickly germinate. Some seeds have a very specific temperature range for germination, while others will germinate over a broad range of temperatures. A 65° to 75° Fahrenheit range is typical for most vegetable seeds. The next point is water requirement for vegetable garden. Watering wisely is key to garden success, particularly in warm, dry regions. During the first few weeks after seed germinate or seedlings are transplanted, frequent watering keeps vegetable plants strong. Once plants are established, it is better idea to give your garden a long drink every few days rather than a little sprinkle every day. Because when the water will move deeper into the soil, which encourages roots to grow deeper, where they are better protected and able to access nutrients they need to stay healthy. Some of the vegetables suitable for vegetable gardening are tomatoes, zucchini or squash, peppers, cabbage, bush beans, lettuce, beets, carrots, chard, radishes, beans, broccoli, eggplant, and corn. Now, let's see fertilization. Fertilizing your vegetables will help to maximize the yields. Organic gardeners often find that adding high quality compost at planting time is all their vegetables require. Other gardeners might consider applying a packaged warm season vegetable fertilizer according to the directions of the bag. There are key things to remember about fertilizing vegetable garden. Healthy soil produces healthy plants, and these healthy plants don't need a lot of fertilizer, but they do need a little. Over-fertilizing will cause insect infestation, and don't over-fertilize. One of the most common intercultural operation in vegetable garden is use mulch to the vegetable. Add 3-inch layer of any organic mulch around plants and over the irrigation lines if possible. Mulch will insulate the soil, helping to maintain it cooler in summer and warmer in winter. It helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and acts as productive barrier from diseases splashing up onto the plants from the soil. And besides, mulch looks great in vegetable garden. Knowing the source of mulch is important as using it, particularly in a vegetable garden. Some mulch can contain unacceptable amounts of harmful chemicals, while there is no such certification for bulk mulch as yet, the non-profit organization. The Mulch and Soil Council certifies bag mulches and soils to be free from any harmful ingredients. Look for their seal on the bag or ask bulk mulch supplier if they know the source of their mulch. Now, let's get into the pest control. Although pests are generally a given at some point of vegetable garden, by exercising patience, nature will usually take care of the problem. After all, of all the insects in your vegetable garden, only about 3% are harmful pests. If there is a lot of pest infestation and disease infestation on your garden, You can use organic way to control your pests and insects. Even for disease infestation, you can use organic method to control your diseases. To reduce the pest infestation, you can use resistant varieties and genetic diversity. The other way is to do crop rotation. Growing the same crops in the same site year after year can encourage a build-up of pests and disease in soil. This will transfer from one crop to the next. Crops should be moved to a different area of each land each year. The next process is good hygiene. If infected plant material, leaf or dead, is left lying around, pest and disease can be pressed on to a future crops. Debris should be cleared up and disposed of. The last but not the least process is soil tillage. Many pests spend part of their lives as larvae or pupae in soil. Plowing or digging when the soil is dry can reveal the pest and they will dry out and die in the sun, or they can picked off the ground by hand or birds or other predators. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to this channel and please ring the bell button to notify you whenever new video is uploaded. Thank you for watching.